Teitze. This vort, this article is based on a recorded lecture given by Rabbi Yitzchak Ginsburg. May he live and be well. In this week's Torah portion of Teitze, God instructs us to construct a fence around the roof of our new homes in order to prevent someone from falling off the roof and being killed. Deuteronomy 22:8. This commandment is the origin of the general directive to do what we can to prevent danger and bloodshed, particularly in our own homes. The image of the fence around the roof is the image of the epitome of the value of life. The image of the roof also connects to the image of Mashiach. In Psalms 102:8, King David writes, "I have been diligent, and I have become like a lone bird on the roof." The image of the bird is the image of Mashiach. Mashiach is described as a bird sitting in a nest in the Garden of Eden, waiting to redeem the world. In this verse in Psalms, the image of Mashiach is the image of a bird on the roof. In a related image in Midrash, Yaakov Shimoni, Isaiah 60:499, the Mashiach once again appears on the roof, this time as a human being. And interestingly, we also have the mitzvah this week of Shluach HaKen, sending the bird, sending the mother away and taking the eggs. Lubavitcher Rebbe would often quote this midrash, in which the Mashiach stands on the roof of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem and turns to the Jewish people, saying, "Humble ones, the time for your redemption has come. Anavim higia zman gulaschem." As birds obviously do not need a fence on a roof, the commandment to construct a fence, such a fence, clearly relates to people. The verse supports a need for a fence by saying that you should not put blood in your home. The two letters of the Hebrew word dam, daled mem, are the two last letters of the Hebrew word for man, like Adam, like Aleph and then daled mem. There's dam in the word Adam. If a person falls off the roof and is killed, it is the dam that is being destroyed. Only the dalet and mem of Adam need a protective fence. The first letter Aleph is not touched. It is the inner bird of the soul of Adam, and it is eternal. Our verse specifies to construct a fence when we build a new home, implying that all old homes will have already been built with a fence. The new home also alludes to the third new temple, the new temple. The concept of newness always relates to Mashiach, who teaches us the new inner dimensions of Torah. The commandment to build a fence around the roof of a new home is unique in its expression of consciousness of messianic newness. The concept of the home also relates to the house of Israel and the lineage of King David and the Mashiach called the house of David. In our meditation, the image of the home is the image of the written Torah, the 5 books of Moses. The prophets and the scriptures, the written Torah comes from the faculty of Chachma, wisdom, and is a relatively male intellectual faculty. Our verse begins with the words ki tivneh, when you build. The Hebrew word tivneh also can be read as tevuna, deep understanding. Tevuna is the origin of the oral Torah. It is relatively female mentality. When we build a new home, we build tivneh from the faculty of tevuna. Tevuna is a place in the mind that dictates that we must first make a fence around the roof of a new home. In Kabbalah and Hasidus, we learn that this commandment is to actively protect life, is one of the central and original thoughts behind the oral tradition of the Torah. It alludes to the origin and purpose of the oral Torah, which is to create a fence around the written Torah to protect it from spiritual danger. The fence around the roof, when we ascend In our consciousness, the high point, the roof of an idea or experience, we have reached its climax or epitome. It is precisely here that danger lies. The first teaching of the Mishnah, of the oral Torah, is to make a fence, siag, or of the Torah. If one doesn't have a fence at the high point of his new house, his new consciousness and new messianic dimension of the Torah, he is liable to fall. The word in our verse for fence is ma'akeh. The word in the first Mishnah in the oral Torah is in the Mishnah is siag. The numerical value of ma'akeh is 215, while the numerical value of siag is 73. Together they equal 288. One of the most important numbers in Kabbalah, 288, is a number of sparks that have fallen into creation after God created high energy, unstable worlds which collapsed. These 288 sparks, they're called the rapach, Nitzotzot, disperse throughout reality where they are captured and hidden. The purpose of the descent of our souls to the world is to redeem these 288 sparks. When this is accomplished, the redemption will be imminent. The number 288 is a double square, 2 times 12 squared, 144 and 144. Thus, the average value of the words ma'akeh and siag is 12 squared. The initial letters of these two words, mem and samech, equal 100, which is 10 squared, so we can see that these two words fit together nicely. If we calculate the triangles of 215 and 73, we will arrive at another amazing phenomenon. The triangle of a number is the sum of all numbers up to and including it. For example, the triangle of 3 is 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. The triangle of 215, ma'akeh, is 23, 220. The triangle of 73 is 2. It's 2701. I'm sorry. The triangle of 215 is 23,220. Which means 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, all up to 215 is 23,220. The triangle of 73, siag, is 2701. The sum of these two numbers is 25,921. This number is a perfect square. It is a square of 161. 161 is another important number in Kabbalah. It is a numerical value of the divine name of God that represents tivunah, the faculty that builds a new home, as above. Tivunah is a spiritual force that creates the conditions in which the new dimension of Torah, the new home, is revealed. That new dimension has a roof, which is the epitome and summit. When the new Torah consciousness reaches that epitome, it needs to have a fence to protect it. Although our meditation is based on an image from the Torah portion and is beautified by mathematical associations, its most important goal is to help us better serve God. Let us explore the image of the fence in our divine service. In Kabbalah, the fence symbolizes a field of light that protects one from falling. Both spiritually and physically, the light is called chashmal. This word appears in the Bible only in the book of Yechezkel, in the vision of the divine chariot, the deepest and most mystical part of the Bible. The meaning of chashmal in Ezekiel is the light of electrum, a certain color light related to electricity. The Talmud tells of a very spiritual child who once played with chashmal, became electrified, and died. This light can be dangerous, but in our context it represents the secret of the fence that protects the person of the roof. The Baal Shem Tov teaches that the secret of chashmal is the secret of the electric fence around the roof. He explains that in our service of God, chashmal represents the three-stage process of submission, separation, and lowliness, which is hachna'ah, havdalah, and hamtakah, or sweetening. Submission is being a state of existential lowliness. It's sweetening. Submission, separation, and sweetness is what it is. It says lowliness, but this is followed by separation, the ability of the soul to clearly separate between positive and negative energies, and the final stage in the process, sweetening. in which we incorporate some of the negative energies into the positive, transforming the negative into sweet and goodness. And in honor of time, we're going to skip to the end. It's all written, but I'm going to skip some portions in order to save for time. The Torah commands us to put a fence around our roof, adding the unusual phrase, lest the faller fall. Our sages explain that the faller is someone who is predisposed to fall. In Kabbalah, we learn that the quintessential fallers are the 288 fallen sparks, which are in the state of existential fall since the beginning of creation. The commandment of the fence and its power is to raise and redeem the fallen sparks. This is the most important directive for us to fulfill. We strongly identify with the oral tradition of the Torah, the mate of the written Torah. We create a complete home with a foundation and a roof. When we add the electrified fence of submission, separation, and sweetening, we pave the way for messianic consciousness to redeem the 288 fallen sparks and subsequently redeem the entire world. Have a great Shabbos.